Hello everybody, welcome back to EduTap and I hope you all guys are doing absolutely good. So today, finally the IRDAI Grade A Phase 2 exam was conducted and we will do a detailed analysis of this particular exam. We will tell you the exact questions which have appeared in the exam also, and we will take the queries of all the students which you will put in the chat box. Okay, just let me know in the chat box if I am audible and visible to all of you. Just let me know in the chat box if I am audible and visible to all of you so that we can start this particular session. And yes, do not worry how, like, whatever performance you have given in the exam, it's done and dusted, right? So today we will do the analysis. Just let me know if everything is working fine on YouTube, right? So let's start with the ESI part first. ESI impacting insurance, which is quite unique in a DI paper. Let's call Kritika ma'am to do a brief analysis. Then we will show you the questions which have appeared in the exam. Right, Kritika ma'am. First of all, a warm welcome for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So I hope you all have done your examination well. So ESI में इस बारी 24 मार्क्स के 3 क्वेश्चन करने थे as the students have told us और 300 वर्ड लिमिट थी rather than 250. Okay, तो थोड़ा सा वर्ड लिमिट जो है ज़्यादा थी. 20 वर्ड्स और 50 वर्ड्स might seem like nothing much, but जब आप इतने सारे आंसर्स लिख रहे हो तो it seems like कि it is taking the extra effort. Okay, तो 300 वर्ड लिमिट थी 24 मार्क्स के लिए. Then there was 4 questions that you had to do for 7 marks और 7 marks में आपका 100 word limit थी. Again last year it was 80 words, this year it was 100 words. So 20 words का जो है थोड़ा सा increase था सर. और moderate level के question थे सर. Moderate to tough बोलूँगी because some questions were unexpected and they were like CBDC वाला अभी we will see the questions. So some questions were quite unexpected. Moderate to tough.
Ma'am, ESI का जब मैं नाम लेता हूँ तो first thing which comes in my mind is current affairs and the scheme. So what is the role of current affairs and scheme in this year paper?
तो स्कीम का सरप्राइजिंगली इस बारी एक ही क्वेश्चन जो हमें मिला है. इफ़ यू नो मोर कि हमें सिर्फ वय वंदना योजना पर क्वेश्चन मिला. हाँ, तो अगर किसी को और कोई स्कीम का क्वेश्चन है ईएसआई में तो दे कैन टेल, पर हमें एज पर द स्टूडेंट्स कि एक ही स्कीम का क्वेश्चन आया था. सो दैट वाज अ लिटिल सरप्राइजिंग. करंट अफेयर्स के रिगार्डिंग एक ही क्वेश्चन था, वो भी आपकी जनरल नॉलेज है कि बैंक्स में जो है डिपॉजिट क्रंच हो रहा है तो उसका इंश्योरेंस में क्या इम्पैक्ट है. तो ऐसे क्वेश्चंस थे, पर करंट अफेयर्स का इतना भी मेजर चंक नहीं था और ये क्वेश्चन भी सर बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग से आंसर कर सकते.
And ma'am, I think the paper level, if you see, it was kind of above moderate, I would say, because of the word limit increase and the type of questions which I have seen, right?
सर कुछ अनएक्सपेक्टेड क्वेश्चंस थे और वर्ड लिमिट भी इंक्रीज हुआ है, तो अबव एवरेज मैं बोलूँगी, अबव मॉडरेट. तो मॉडरेट से थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट की तरफ था एग्जामिनेशन.
Right. And ma'am, any more comments related to the type of questions which we have seen?
ओके, सो अभी तक जितने भी क्वेश्चंस हमें मिले हैं, मैनी ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस वी हैव फाउंड फ्रॉम द स्टूडेंट्स. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द हेल्प ऑल्सो. And the questions we have found, they are of different like nature. They are from the syllabus, they are from the insurance area also. And in the ESI impacting insurance, there were questions from like schemes also. तो बहुत ही वेराइटी ऑफ क्वेश्चंस थे जो ESI impacting insurance में हम एक्सपेक्ट भी करते हैं, लेकिन जब हम देखते हैं ऐसे क्वेश्चन तो वी आर ऑल्सो सरप्राइज्ड कि ये क्वेश्चन आ गया, राइट?
And ma'am, that's all ESI is all about, right? ESI में surprises are there. Right, ma'am. You can take your seat, ma'am. Now, Narveer sir, please. Narveer sir will help us in the analysis of descriptive English. First question, sir, the overall analysis, and were there any major changes?
Sir, overall analysis, we can say it was above moderate. We can't say it was easy at all because the topics, somewhat they were inclined towards insurance this year. There was one topic on in essay writing as well. There was one reading comprehension passage. Then there was statement expansion about CSR. So there was a lot of management and insurance related questions in English this year. So that was something different to the students. And another thing that was different was the word limit was not mentioned for many of the questions. Like essay, they were given a specific sheet with 3 pages to write. There was no specific word limit to cover or to meet that way. Only statement expansion was for only 100 words. The rest, all the questions were on the same line. So paper, if somebody had practiced all the questions beforehand, it would seem okayish to do the exam.
And sir, any other type of question which we are seeing, like letter, pressy, or statement completion, any like something like this?
Right, so exactly like last year, there were 5 questions. One was essay writing. There was one topic based on insurance, one was topic based on AI, then other was about your leadership skills, right? Ethics and leadership. Then there were reading comprehension passages. There were 5 questions to answer. Then there was 2 letters, one formal and one informal. We'll discuss that in the session.
Right.
Then there was Pressy writing about women empowerment and women participation in labor workforce. And then there were 2 choices in the statement expansion. One was about the scope of CSR in India, and the other was about, again, motivation. It was a lot of management and insurance this year.
So that's the analysis of English, sir. We will show you the questions and we will show the exact questions which have appeared in English in a meanwhile. Right. So I will start now the session with showing you the questions, and side by side we will also see, I would say, what the questions which have appeared in the, I would say in the insurance and management. Okay. So let's start. So first we will do the brief analysis for insurance and management. Now when it comes to insurance, first we are starting with the management part, and then we will start with the insurance part as well. Cool. So let's start now. Now when it comes to the first type of questions which we will see in management with the first type of question was 20 marker, in which the word limit was 300. And if you see the analysis of 2017, 2023, and I would say 2024, word limit in IRDAI is like going up and going down. Sometimes they increases it, sometimes it decreases it also. So please understand that word limit is not static, it is dynamic. In 2024, they have asked 20 markers, and in which the word limit was 300. And in this you have 2 questions. Right now, if you see in these 2 questions, which you should attempt is the note on leadership and the motivational theories. We all know that in motivation, there are process-based theories and content-based theories. In leadership also, you have multiple set of leadership theories, right? So if you see, these 2 are the questions. These 2 are the questions, note on leadership and motivation, or basically means either you attempt this or either you attempt this one. Okay. And we have talked to like 20 to 25 students for this, and all of them, like I would say, I can vouch it, like somewhere around 95% of students have attempted this question only, which is the note of leadership and motivation theory. And yes, there was one question related to on the job training versus something, which many students are unable to recall. So we will ask you for your help over here. If you can tell us the question, the full question over here, you can drop your comments in the chat box as well, and you can drop the your comments in the comment box as well. Okay. So, but in these 2 questions, as I told you, the note on leadership and motivational theories was the most easy one to do. Okay. Now let's move to the second type. This is the first type of question which you have to do, which is 20 marker of 300 words. The second type of question was 15 markers, in which the word limit was 100 words. Again, quite surprising from IRDAI. Different questions, but I think you have to clear these, then only you will move ahead. In the 15 markers, they have given you Zomato, whatever you want to call Zomato, whatever your pronunciation is. In Zomato, they have given you a case study, which was like a kind of an RC. Like Zomato was established in this year. These are the products of Zomato. These are the business verticals of Zomato. This is the sale of Zomato and all the stuff. Okay. Based on the RC or based on the paragraph which was of Zomato, they have asked you 3 compulsory questions. In 20 markers, there was only one question which you have to do from the 2 choices which are given to you. But in 15 marker, 3 questions were given, and you have to attempt all the 3 questions. But again, like almost like 90% of the students have said that these 3 questions were cakewalk, easy halwa. Like the first question is, which segments in Zomato working in? Like you have to read the paragraph and then you have to write your answer. When Zomato was listed in stock exchange and when was Blinkit started? Discuss the financial performance of Zomato. So these were the questions which you have to attempt. In the 15 markers, each question was of 5 marks. Okay. Again, I am understanding that this is easy, right? So I will, if you see in 20 marker, according to me, this question is lengthy, but it is easy. In your 15 marker, again, these sets of questions are lengthy, but they are easy. I hope you agree on that. Moving forward to the next type. Next type was 10 marker. So 20 marker bhi hai, 15 marker bhi hai, and 10 marker bhi hai. And don't be surprised, 5 marker bhi hai. So hats off to IRDAI for setting the paper. Right. Now in your 10 marker, there were 3 questions. Out of these 3, you only have to attempt 2. One question was on the note of authority and delegation. We all know that delegation has 3 components: authority, responsibility, and accountability. right? If you see, my friend, note on authority and delegation was asked. Second was staffing as the function of management. And the third question was personal management versus HR. So if you see, my friend, these three were the questions, and which out of these three you only have to attempt two. Now, if I was on your place, I would have attempted authority and delegation and staffing, because every management student knows that journal management says these two questions are very, very doable, right? We always study about planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling, right? So I think staffing wala was doable, and note on authority and delegation was also doable, right? Yes, personal management and HR, this question is quite, I would say, those who are experts in HR, they can do. But at the same end, I think this question was also doable. I'm not saying that these questions are not easy. I'm not saying that these questions are easy. I'm saying that these are kind of moderate, you can say. Okay. Moving to the next part, which is 5 marks. In 5 marks, my friend, you were given two numericals. Like there were two bar graphs which were given. Bar graph was given on health insurance premium, and one another bar graph was given which was on the life insurance premium. Okay. So these are the two bar graphs which are given to you, and on the two different bar graphs, same question was asked. Like calculate the profit percentage growth, or calculate the growth in the profit percentage for life insurance and health insurance. So this was the like kind of question which we have collected so far, and this was 5 marker. These two questions were again compulsory. So if you see, my friends, in 20 marker, these were the two set of questions. In 15 marker, these were the three questions. In 10 markers, you were given three, but you have to attempt two. And yes, in the 5 markers, 2.5 each, like two questions were there, 2.5 for each, and you have to attempt these two. Like this was purely numerical. You have to use your brain and then only answer. Now, if we do this analysis, definitely, my friend, management was lengthy. Management was lengthy. But speaking from a teacher's perspective or speaking from a journal student perspective, I still think it was doable. It was not something like out of the world, because we have already covered multiple things. Like, see, RC mein you have to just understand the concept and write the things, right? But I think note on leadership and motivation, even you will study these topics on the very first day of management. RC based question was doable. When it comes to authority delegation, I would say it was doable. Yes, I'm not saying that it was very small, it was lengthy only. Function of management staffing, again doable. And the last question, which was based on numerical, some people are saying that this question was tough, so I am counting it as tough only. So the overall level of management, according to me, with the full disclaimer, I can be wrong also, it was above moderate. At the same time, it was lengthy too. I do agree on that. So this was related to management. Now let's start with insurance. In insurance, there were 7.5 marks question, in which 6 questions were given and you only have to attempt 4. So 7.5 into 4 will be making your total as whatever you want to say, you can say. And if you see over here in insurance, these are the questions over here which you have to see. If I'm not wrong, management was having a higher seat. Management was having a higher seat, roughly around 65 marks, if I'm not wrong. And insurance was having somewhere around 35 marks. Okay, I might be wrong in calculation, but management was having a higher weightage as compared to insurance. Okay, now in insurance, these are the questions which have appeared on your exam day, which is today. First was related to dynamic and static risk. Second question is related to some comment wise, like life is uncertain. What is the implication of risk, peril, and hazard? And the third question was related to insurance principle, which is insurable interest meaning. And then you have to tell that what is insurable interest in context of life, property, and marine insurance. Pure risk cannot be controlled. Like this was one statement which was given, and then you have to draw out its, I would say what, you have to draw out its, I would say what, implication kind of stuff. Then the fourth question, sorry, was surveyors and their role in the loss assessment. And we are not able to guess, one more question was there over here, but we are only able to collect these many questions only. Now, if we see all these questions, insurable interest is doable, because the very first thing which you read in insurance is the principles of insurance. The very first thing which you read in insurance is principles of insurance. So I would say that insurable interest question was doable. You should do this. Second, life is uncertain. What is the implication of risk, perils, and hazard? This question is also doable. Why? Because the next thing which you read in insurance are the different types of risk which your insurance policy covers. So I think as a student, you should cover these two questions. Now, it depends upon you that whether you know the role of surveyors or you know the type of risk. Surveyor roles is again very, very general. They will try to understand the risk which is involved in the insured life. So I think surveyors and the role of their loss assessment is also doable. And at this particular junction, either you can do the pure risk or the static or dynamic risk. If I was on your place, I would have done the dynamic and static risk, because this is again concept based. Pure risk cannot be controlled. This was like kind of based on one-to-one analysis of a, like, this is based on the analysis of you as a person, like how will you see that question, right? So if I see all these questions and if I have to attempt only 4, then I would say again insurance is again on above thoda sa moderate, you can say. And at the end of the day, if you see the entire level of insurance and management paper, it is above moderate, but it can be lengthy because of multiple theories and the stuff which is asked. Okay, so this was the analysis and these were the list of questions which have appeared in your exam. Now I will be calling Kritika ma'am. She will be taking you ahead for ESI impacting insurance.
Okay, so starting with the ESI impacting insurance. So first of all, there were 24 marks questions. You had to write 300 words, okay? And you had to attempt 3 questions here. So there were questions on the initiatives for the last mile connectivity for insurance. So you had to tell the different initiatives of IRDI or the different initiatives taken by the government. So here the micro insurance you can mention, and the different like Bima Sugam, Bima Vahak, Bima Vistar. So these are the steps of the IRDI that the IRDI is pushing for the last mile connectivity for insurance. Okay, so here initiatives, this was on the easier line. I will say that if you have done the initiatives, if you have read about IRDI and its encouragement for the last mile connectivity, you will be able to answer this. Okay, so it was on a 24 marks, 300 words you had to write. Then deposit crunch and its impact on the sector of insurance. Now this was more related to your current scenario, that the banks are facing the deposit crunch and how is it going to impact the insurance sector. So this was related to your current understanding, and I will say that it is currently related, but it is not very difficult, moderate to difficult, I will say. If you have the current understanding, you will be able to write this question. Okay, then there was a question on the technology pros and cons in the insurance sector. Just in the COVID scenario, there was the push that was given to the digital ecosystem and the digital digital system. Okay, so during the COVID, because of the situation, there was the push to the digital ecosystem, and with that it was recognized that the technology is very important in the insurance sector and the processes has to be transferred in the digital ecosystem. So you can connect with that, and pros and cons could be written on the technology in the insurance sector. There was a question on the risk-based capital implementation and supervision. So risk-based capital is part of your syllabus. So I hope you have read about the risk-based capital, and if you know about the risk-based capital, then the implementation and supervision you had to write about this. Okay. Next is how India is transitioning towards a sustainable economy. So it is a very good question. Sustainable economy and the sustainable development is quite in news recently. It was quite in the current affairs, and here the question is regarding how India is transitioning towards the sustainable economy. So if you know about the sustainable development, if you know about the sustainable economy, if you know the steps taken by the government and the different authorities, you could write this answer. Okay, there are different initiatives, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and the Clean Ganga, Clean Air program. So different initiatives you could write here, that how India is transitioning towards a sustainable economy. Okay, so this was also related, like it was regarding your syllabus also, and it was related to your current affairs also. Okay, now next question we are not able to find, but you had to write 3 questions. So among these like the 5 questions that are here, the 3 questions you could have written, and I will say that for some students there are some easy question, there are some tougher question. So some might feel like the starting 2 were easy and then there were difficult ones, or some might feel that starting 2 are difficult and then there are easy. So regarding, like, it was all about your understanding regarding a topic and you had to write on that. Okay, so if you have done your syllabus, then the first question, and that is initiatives for the last mile connectivity and risk based capital, it is directly from your syllabus. So you could have done that, or you could have used your understanding on the technology and you could have written the pros and cons in the insurance sector. So these were the 5 questions, And there is one more question that I was not able to find. So do help us in finding this last question. So there were 6 questions, out of which you had to do 3. Okay. So 3 questions, 300 words, 24 marks. Now there were 7 marker questions, 4 questions you had to do, and they were carrying 100 words. Like you had to write 100 words in that. So there was a question on PM Vay Vandana Yojana. So this question is directly from your schemes. If you have done the schemes, you could have written this. Okay. But there were so many schemes, so I can understand that this could be a difficult question if you have not delved into this particular scheme. But if you know about the basics of this scheme, 100 words you could have written, okay? Just the basic scheme, idea of the scheme and the feature. Now CBDC. This is not neither a hot topic. I will say this was a hot topic last year, but now there is not much like discussion on the CBDC right now. But still CBDC question came, that is central bank digital currency. So if you know about the CBDC, last year there was a lot of discussion on the CBDC retail pilot, CBDC wholesale pilot. So if you know about the CBDC, if you know the idea, you could write the implementation or you can write about the CBDC. Okay, so it was a question regarding your basic understanding of a topic. Next, sovereign green bonds and its usefulness in insurance. So sovereign green bonds was in news recently, and it, like sovereign green bonds, I hope you know about it, that there are the government bonds that are particularly for the green infrastructure. So their usefulness in insurance. So that was a question that you had to connect the sovereign green bonds with the insurance sector. Okay. Next is loss minimization and reduction technique in the insurance. Now, some students are saying that this was in insurance. Some students are saying that this question is in ESI. Okay. So I hope you could help us to know that this question was in ESI, impacting insurance, or in insurance. Okay. But these were the question in the 7 marks. Then there was a direct question on the actuary's role in the insurance sector. So this was directly from your syllabus. So always in the ESI impacting insurance, this is a pattern that some questions are from your syllabus, some questions are general, either current affairs or some general topic they have given, and some questions are from schemes. This year we could only see one question from the schemes. Okay. Next is any other question. If you know about the any other question, do help us in this, do help us in finding the other question. But out of these you had to do 4 questions. So in the 7 markers you had to do 4 questions, so carrying 28 marks. In the 24 markers you had to do 3 questions carrying 72 marks. So in total this was the 100 marks ESI impacting insurance. And I will not say that ESI was very much easy or doable. It was above average or it was above moderate because of the nature of the ESI impacting insurance, that it contains some of the out of the box topics like your CBDC or the schemes like PM Vay Vandana Yojana. Okay, so it was above moderate, near to difficult. But if you know about the basic idea of the topic, you could have written that. Even the basic idea, if you have, this is a descriptive examination, so you can write whatever basic idea you have on the CBDC and such. So this is it from the ESI impacting insurance segment. Now coming to the descriptive English. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So guys, first of all, I wish your exam went well, and I really believe that English, as I've always reiterated, that it is the game changer in this exam. So this was the most scoring part out of all, I think, and it was, I think, the most easily doable part in today's exam. So guys, the exam was on the same pattern. There were 5 questions like last year. One was essay writing, the other was reading comprehension based questions. Third was your précis writing. Fourth is your letter writing, where there were 2 choices between formal and informal. And then last was your statement expansion based question. So I'll be sharing with you as much as we have understood, or we have received all the information that we've received from all the candidates who appeared in the exam. So let me just share with you the topics, first of all, for essay writing, guys. So there were 4 topics given. I don't have the 4 topic, guys. If you know which is the 4 topic, please do mention it in the chat box. The first topic was strategies for insurance. Strategies for insurance for all by 2047 in India. Guys, this was about, I'm sorry, this is 2047. Right, so strategies for insurance for all by 2047 in India. I think this is the most favored topic. because it was related to your syllabus, and you could write as much as you want in this topic, right? Second topic was pros and cons of artificial intelligence. So this was again a very generic topic, something which is which we have been talking about all along. Third was the power of positive thinking. This is basically a static topic, or you can say it is somewhat related to your management. And fourth topic, guys, if anyone remembers what the fourth topic was, please do share it with me in the chat box. Right? So guys, whosoever is watching, do you remember the fourth topic? In the meantime, guys, I'll share with you what you could have written in topic number 1. We'll come with a detailed analysis of all the answers, detailed solution for all the answers at a later stage. But today I'll be sharing with you what you could have written in the first topic, strategies for insurance for all by 2047 in India. So guys, what could be the strategy? So you could have started like this: achieving a universal insurance coverage in India by 2047 is a visionary goal set by the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, IRDAI. This ambitious target aims to ensure that every citizen possesses appropriate life, health, and property insurance, and that every enterprise is adequately supported by insurance services. To realize this objective, several strategic initiatives are being implemented. You could have written about enhancing awareness and education, that is financial literacy. Then you could have, you could read it, guys. Then second, you could have spoken about product innovation and affordability, how insurance can be made affordable to to each and every household in the country. And third was strengthening the distribution channels. The outreach program, the last mile job that has to be executed not just on paper but in reality. So you could have written about that. Fourth, you could have mentioned leveraging technology, how we can use the something that we call bank assurance these days, right? You must be aware of the term bank assurance. So that could come into play. Then AI can also big data sets can also help in this. So leveraging technology is another important factor that you could have mentioned. Then regulatory support and reforms, what government can do in this regard, what central authorities the decisions and the reforms that can be put in place by the authorities, right? So that should be mentioned. And then public PPP model, public private partnership model, that could also be dealt into this, because insurance is not very widely accepted you can say product by the country, by the people, but it's it should be there. And then you could have given a logical conclusion. In conclusion, the insurance for all by 2047 initiative is a multifaceted strategy that encompasses awareness enhancement, then product innovation, distribution expansion, technological adoption, regulatory reforms, and collaborative efforts. By implementing these strategies, India is poised to create a robust and inclusive insurance ecosystem that safeguards the financial and well-being of its citizens and supports sustainable economic growth. So this is, you could have written your essay on these lines. You could have added, a few more points into it, but let me know, guys, what you did in the chat box, in the comment section of the video as well. So this is one of the essay topics that we faced in the exam today. Second was your, guys, reading comprehension passage. Now the topic, we don't have the exact passage now. We'll try to find it as soon as possible for you. But the topic that was given in the comprehension passage was data analytics in insurance. What role can data analytics play in insurance? How can it be a game changer in this? And there were 5 descriptive questions based on reading comprehension passage. So that was the second question. Third question was your Pressy passage. Now the topic, we don't have the passage as of now, but the topic was women participation in labor force and women empowerment. Broadly speaking, then you could, it talked about what role can education play in this regard, and how women can empower and grow and become an entrepreneur in themselves. So that was the Pressy passage, and you had to make a 150 word. Okay, let me first of all come back to the first question again. So let me also talk about the word limit. So guys, word limit this year was not mentioned in the paper. It was mentioned in the answer sheet this time. So the space was limited. So students told me, sir, in the answer sheet, the word limit mentioned for essay writing was 500 words, exactly like last year. Then if we talk about reading comprehension, there is no prescribed word limit in reading comprehension, guys. There is no per se limit, but you have to write at least 40 to 50 words for every answer. So that means 200 words, give or take, for your reading comprehension, along with reading it and comprehending it. Then third was Pressy passage. The Pressy was for 150 words. So the passage was about women empowerment, and you had to bring down your Pressy into 150 words only, right? Then fourth question was your letter writing, guys. So this time there were 2 letters, one formal and one informal. So the formal letter is write a letter to commissioner regarding dog menace in your society. So this was the formal letter. And then second letter was write a letter to your nephew regarding rampant spread of fake news on social media. So that was the informal letter. So I'll show you what could be the sample solutions for these letters, guys. So you start with your address, then date, then subject line could be request for intervention to address stray dog menace. Then you could start, dear sir, ma'am, I'm writing to bring to your notice the growing issue of stray dogs in your locality, whatever the name you want to put there. The increasing number of stray dogs in our area has become a cause for concern, posing challenges to the safety and well-being of residents. Now, what could be written in the body? There have been numerous incidents of aggressive behavior by stray dogs, including chasing pedestrians and cyclists, which have led to injuries and created a sense of fear among residents, particularly children and the elderly. Moreover, the incessant barking during nighttime hours disrupts the peace and affects the residents' quality of life. We kindly request your esteemed office to take necessary measures such as conducting sterilization drives, vaccinating the dogs, and relocating aggressive animals in coordination with animal welfare organizations. These steps would help in maintaining both public safety and animal welfare. So we trust your intervention will resolve this pressing issue promptly. Your name, and then you could have ended the letter. Or in the informal letter, you could have mentioned this was regarding spread of fake news on social media. So dear nephew could start with the address, then date, then dear nephew's name. I hope this letter finds you in great health and high spirits. It's always a pleasure to see how well you are doing. But today I want to share something important that's been on my mind lately. Have you noticed how fake news spreads like wildfire on social media these days? It's becoming a serious problem. People forward messages, share posts, or even believe things without checking if they are true. From health advice to political claims, misinformation is everywhere. It's scary to think how much harm it can cause, right? As someone who's grown up in the digital age, you know how powerful social media is. That's why it's so important to use it responsibly. Always fact check information before sharing it, rely on credible sources, and think critically about what you see online. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Then you could end like this: let's do our part to stop the spread of fake news. Share this thought with your friends too. It can make a big difference. Looking forward to hearing your views on this, and then you can take care and keep shining, and then you could put your name at that there. Then guys, fifth question was statement expansion. Now this was for 100 words, and the two choices that you had to write only one out of these. So the first choice was scope of CSR in India. I think most of you would have chosen this, and the other was ethical leadership, right? Role of ethical leadership. So I've given you some statements. You could have written this. The scope of corporate CSR in India is vast, driven by Section 135 of the Companies Act 2013, which mandates eligible companies to invest in social development initiatives. CSR activities encompass areas such as education, healthcare, environmental sustainability, skill development, rural development, and gender equality. Companies can support government programs like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Digital India, and Skill India, or partner with NGOs to implement impactful projects. With India's growing focus on sustainable development and social equity, CSR evolving from a compliance obligation to a strategic tool for creating long-term societal and economic value benefiting communities nationwide. So you could have ended in 5 to 6 sentences, or you could have written in ethical leadership. Ethical leadership is the practice of leading with integrity, fairness, and a strong sense of values, ensuring that decisions and actions align with moral principles. It involves transparency, accountability, and respect for others, fostering trust and credibility within teams and organizations. Ethical leaders prioritize the greater good over personal gains and inspire others by setting an example of honesty and responsibility. They address challenges with fairness, prompt inclusivity, and encourage ethical behavior across all levels. By creating a culture of ethics and values, ethical leadership drives sustainable growth, enhances organizational reputation, and builds stronger, more resilient communities and businesses. So guys, these were the 5 questions for your descriptive English part. So guys, if you know the fourth topic for essay, please do share it with me in the chat box, guys. Otherwise, and if you have any doubts, if you have any queries, please do let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you out in this, right? So guys, all in all, this was the final analysis, detailed analysis of your IRDAI exam, phase 2 exam for descriptive English, insurance and management. So guys, do we have any doubts? Do we have any further queries regarding anything about the exam? If there are any, please do let us know in the chat box. Otherwise, you can also call us on this number during the office hours, that is 814620741, or you can also drop us an email on this ID, which is hello@edutap.co.in. Please do share your inputs with us. What was your experience? How did you feel? How the exam fared? And do let us know if this was a learning curve for you, this was a learning experience for you as well. So guys, we wish you all the success in your endeavors ahead. Keep on working hard, keep on giving your best, and I'm sure you will come out with flying colors. So all the very best, guys. Keep your fingers crossed, and we'll see you.